looking at the longevity of your career, the scope and scale of the Tony Robbins empire, so to speak, your endurance has really impressed me. And so I'm wondering, after these decades, what are some of your daily routines? For instance, what do you typically eat for breakfast, if it's up to you?
Yeah, I have salad and fish. It's like standard. I'm boring as hell because I just know it's fuel.
Yeah.
Before I met my wife, we've been together for more than 15 years, I was completely anal. I was like, I hadn't had chocolate. I hadn't had ice cream in like 15 years, right? I was just crazy. And then she came into my life, and I'll never forget, I thought, God, this woman's incredible. She's a phlebotomist, she does the blood, she's an acupuncturist, she's a nutritionist. We're having these green drinks, and we had this lunch, and afterwards she ordered a hot fudge sundae, and I thought, what in the hell are you doing? She goes, living, you bastard. So she loosened my ass up just a bit, which was great, because I loved her. So she calls it zigging and zagging. We zig, 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 and then she zags, or we zag. And when I was first with her, I was like, you're zagging. We were traveling through Europe, Rome and Italy and various parts of France, south of France. And I was like, you seem to be zagging every day. And she goes, well, I'm on vacation. And then later on, we were traveling. I said, the problem is we're always traveling, so you're always on vacation. But she's fit as hell, in great shape. But I'm fish and salad. I'm a high greens, protein type of guy, very low carbs. But my regimen is I start with something to strengthen and jolt my nervous system every freaking day. I will sometimes ease into it. I'll go in the hot pools. I'm fortunate enough to have multiple homes. My home in Sun Valley, I have natural hot pools that come out of the ground, just steaming hot. And I go in the hot pools, and then I go there in the river. Here, I go in a 57-degree, plunge pool that I have. And I have one every home I have.
And this will be immediately upon waking up?
Waking up. It's just like boom, every cell in my body wakes up. And it's just like training my nervous system to rock, that there is I don't give a shit how you feel. This is how you perform. This is what you do. Even when I'm taking vacation, I do it. It's just, I don't know. Now I like it. I like that simple discipline that reminds me the level of strength and intensity that's available at any moment. Even if I'm relaxing, I can bring that up at will. It's Mylan.
Right.
I also have a cryotherapy unit in all my homes. Have you tried cryotherapy?
I haven't.
Do you know what it is?
Maybe you could elaborate. I mean, I can put the two words together and probably guess.
Oh my God! With all that you do, you're going to love this. I'm surprised. I'm glad I'm teaching Tim Ferriss something for the first time.
I've done ice bath. Oh, not the first time.
Ice baths suck. Ice baths suck. Trust me. I'm on stage in a weekend. I do my Unleash Power Within program, 3 days. It's 50 hours.
Yeah.
You've been to an event. You got to come as my guest to an event sometime.
I would love to.
But I'm going to give you an idea. People won't sit for a 3-hour movie that somebody spent $300 million on, and I got like Usher or Oprah going on, Tony, I love you, but 2 hours most I can do. And 12 hours later, Oprah's standing on a chair going, this is the most incredible experience of my life on camera. And Usher's like, dude, I'm in for all 3 days. But for me, one of those days alone, I wear an odometer and I'm Fitbit, and it's 26 and a half miles on average.
Wow.
We start at 8:30 in the morning. I finish at 1:30 or 2. There's 1 hour break. People can vote with their feet. No one leaves. There's on average 20 minutes of just crazy ass standing ovations, music stuff that happens at the end, because people are it's like a rock concert. It's so much fun. But the wear and tear of doing, basically marathon after marathon after marathon on the weekend, back to back, it's pretty intense. And so over the years, it's like the inflammation in my body, the demands, I've had to do everything I can to reduce it. Nothing has come close to cryotherapy. Cryotherapy was developed in Poland and Eastern Germany, and the Eastern Bloc countries. And what it does is it uses nitrogen, so there's no water. Mm-hmm. And unlike an ice bath, what you do, you get spasms, and got to do them still, right? Yeah. If you're a boxer, you're a runner, you're an athlete, which is what I would do before. Hated them. There's none of that process, but it reduces your body temperature to minus 220 Fahrenheit. And you do it 3 minutes, and it's mind-boggling. In fact, I have one here, and I'll throw you in at the end if you want.
I would love to. That'd be great.
So I have a unit here. I'll do it for you. But what it does is, and I do it about 3 times a week usually. And when I come back from an event, I do it, a couple days in a row. And what it does is it takes all the inflammation out of your body, and you know what inflammation does to every aspect of the body in the breakdown. But it also, it sends emergency signals to your brain. It's like resetting your neurological system. Because your brain's going, you're going to freeze to death. It sounds horrific. It really isn't. You'll find out it's not that painful. Going in my cold plunge at 57 degrees feels more jolting than this does, even though it's colder, because, the fluid of water versus the nitrogen around you is different.
Right, the connectivity.
The connectivity, exactly right. And so, but what happens is, your nervous system gets a signal, so it's like everything in your body connects, because it's like emergency. Every part is a reset of your nervous system. You get an explosion of endorphins in your body, which is really cool. So you get this natural high. You feel this physiological transformation, and you get the reduction of inflammation. What it was used for originally is for people with arthritis. And I found my first one because my mother-in-law was calling up and she was just crying in pain and no medication was enough for her. And I hate somebody medicated anyway. And so I started doing all this research, and it just started to come to the U.S. And now the LA Lakers, most football teams, it's spreading like wildfire amongst the sports teams. And so that's where it took off. So I went and got her one, and it took her, I think, 3 sessions, and she's out of pain. And now there's not a day she's in pain. Now, most people can't afford to go buy a unit, but there are local places now that are popping up all over the United States where athletes go, where people go for rejuvenation. It's amazing for the skin. But it's one of the great things. I got it for her, so I got it for me, and then now I'm addicted. So I've got one in 3 minutes.
What type of unit? Do you know the actual model or the brand that you use?
Yeah, there's 2 of them, the best out there. It's, was it Java? Junka, Junka, I think it is. I'll get it for you when we go downstairs.
And I'll put it in the show notes for those of you who
if anybody wants to do it. But also, like, if you're in LA, there's a place there on, I'll give it to you and put it in your notes. A couple of the locations there. There's some great guys. I'm getting another unit. This is brand new home. So, and I'm building an additional guest house and additional size gym and so forth. I'm getting a unit though that's better. This one just goes up to your neck. But I'm getting one that encloses you a full room. And the reason is about 70% of your nerve receptors are from the neck up. So when you step into one of those, it's even more powerful. But other than that, I don't do much unique or different with my life.
I don't believe that entirely. I'll keep digging. But so you have either the sort of contrast therapy that you mentioned, the hot, cold, the cryotherapy.
Yes.
You have salad and fish.
Yes.
How far after? So what is, if you were to kind of spec out the first hour of your day?
Well, the first every day, I do the water, I take in the environment, and then the first thing I do before I do anything else in my day is I do what I call priming. And priming to me is different than meditating. I'm never really a meditator per se. I know the value of it. But the idea for me of sitting still and having no thoughts, it just didn't really work out for me. I was just a pain in the ass. And I just thought it's not natural, right? It's like that's where it works. But when I'm in nature, I feel that form of meditation. When I stand on stage and someone stands up and my brain, it's done. I don't even know what it is, but person's suicidal. I've never lost a suicide, for example, in 37 years. Knock on wood, doesn't mean I won't someday, but I never have at 1,000. And we followed up with them. So it's like there's something that comes through me, and it's quite meditative. It's like I experience it as a witness, afterwards. It's one of the most beautiful gifts in my life. So I know that meditation. But for me, what priming is, if you want to have a prime life, you got to be in a prime state. And weeds grow automatically. I don't give a damn what it is. My teacher, Jim Rohn, used to say that. And so what I do is I get up and I do a very simple process. I do an explosive change in my physiology. I've done the water already, right? Cold, hot. Then I do it with breath. Because I know all forms of Eastern meditation all understand that the mind is the kite and breath is the string. So if I want to move that kite, I move the breath. So I have a specific pattern of breathing that I do. I do 30 of these breaths, and I do them at 3 sets of 30. And that creates a profound physiological difference in my body. And from that altered state, I usually listen to some music, and I promise myself 10 minutes, and I usually go 30.
And you do that in this room that we're sitting in?
No, I do it all of this one room is where I do it. This has got a great vibe. I'll do this one. I do it at night. I usually will go outside because I love the wind on my face, and I love taking the elements and so forth. But I do it in multiple places. I'm on the road. I do it. Doesn't matter what day. I do not miss priming. The reason is I'm not, you don't get fit by getting lucky. Right. You don't get fit by working out for a weekend. You live your life that way. Fitness is because it becomes just part of who you are. So what I do during that time is I do 3 simple things, and I do it minimum 10 minutes. 3 minutes of it is just me getting back inside my body and outside of my head, feeling the earth in my body experience, and then feeling totally grateful for 3 things. And I make sure one of them is something very, very simple. The wind on my face, the reflection of the clouds that I just saw there. But I don't just think gratitude. It's like I let gratitude fill my soul. Because when you're grateful, as we all know, there's no anger. It's possibly angry and grateful simultaneously. When you're grateful, there is no fear. You can't be fearful and grateful simultaneously. So I think it is one of the most important power emotions of life. And also, to me, there's nothing worse than an angry rich man or woman, someone who's got everything and they're pissed off. I want to
surprisingly high number, though.
Yeah, it is, because they develop a life that's based on expectation instead of appreciation.
Agreed.
And I tell people, you want to change your life, fast thing, trade your expectation for appreciation, and you have a whole new life. So every day I anchor that in, and I do it very deeply and emotionally. Then the second 3 minutes I do is a total focus on feeling presence of God, if you will, however you want to language that for yourself. But this inner presence coming in and feeling that heals everything in my body, my mind, my emotions, my relationships, my finances. I see it as solving anything that needs to be solved. I experience the strengthening of my gratitude, of my joy, of my strength, of my conviction, of my passion, and I just let those things happen spontaneously. And then I focus on celebration and then service, because my whole life is about service. That's what makes me feel alive. So I flood myself with that, with a breathing pattern that I take that does the opposite. It takes the breath down through my body and back up again. And then the last 3 minutes are me focusing on 3 things I'm going to make happen, my 3 to thrive. And I have some big things that I'll do, and sometimes I'll do things that are smaller, but I see them, feel them, experience them. So it's a really simplistic process. It's 10 minutes, but I come out of it in my power. It doesn't matter if I had 2 hours sleep. I'm now ready. It doesn't, and I do this even when I have no sleep. That's how committed I am. And as I say, I've always said, there's no excuse not to do 10 minutes. Right. If you don't have 10 minutes, you don't have a life. Right. And that's how I got myself to do it. And now that I've done it, 20 to 30 minutes is almost always what it is, because it actually feels extraordinary.
And where can people learn more about the breathing pattern, or could you describe it briefly?
I'm putting a link online because I just started to share this just recently, and I'll get it for you. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but it'll be up shortly, I think this week.
Okay, awesome. Yeah. And I will also put that in the show notes, guys. So that's just 4hourworkweek.com/podcast, and you'll be able to find this episode. I have to ask, what type of music do you usually listen to?
I have a variety, but for that meditation, I have one in particular, which is a oneness meditation that a friend of mine made it, who's from India, that I find really profound. It has no singing in it or things like that. It's just the sound of a vibration that's going on, and I just love it. But that's what I'm doing currently. In the past, over the years, I've used all kinds of different pieces of music, but I don't use modern music or pop music or rock music. I do that to work out, right. Rap. I don't know, it just feels weird to be doing rap while you're meditating. But again, what's different is I don't look at it as meditation, because I look at it as it's priming courage, love, joy. It's priming gratitude. It's priming strength. It's priming accomplishment. It's priming, when I'm doing my gratitude piece, I'm doing the circle of who's closest to me and, circling that out to everybody I love and sending that energy and healing out to them as well. So to me, that's, if you want prime time life, you got to prime daily.
Well, I like the term priming also, because I think that most people who struggle with meditation or even attempt to use meditation are utilizing it for that purpose. They're doing it first in the morning. And, when you said, if you don't have 10 minutes, you don't have a life, it reminded me of something that Russell Simmons said to me, which was, if you don't have 30 minutes to meditate, you need 3 hours. And I don't always do 30 minutes, but I do meditate in the morning. And it's been a very consistent pattern through among all of the people that I've interviewed so far on the podcast.
Really?
Practically 100%.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And of course, we'll get to Ray Dalio, but also a very avid meditator.
He's coming with me to India in a couple weeks.
Well, that'll be an amazing trip, I'm sure.
For a week of this experience.
Oh, amazing. Yeah. So the